Welcome to the Scented Path, where fragrance meets the senses and brings meaning to life's special moments. I'm Natalie, your guide on this journey through scent, self-reflection, and living beautifully. Each week, we'll explore how fragrance inspires balance, stirs memories, and elevates everyday life. Discover how each scent can transform not just your space, but your mood and your path forward. So let's walk this journey one scent at a time. This is the Scented Path. Have you ever had one of those moments that don't just shake you but wake you? Where you're sitting there trying to hold it together, but the weight of what you've been holding hits you all at once, but you can't ignore it anymore? That was me. On the edge of my bed, tears running down my face, phone still in my hand, not looking for drama, not trying to be confrontational. I just needed the truth. And this time, I needed it to be seen out loud, not brushed off, not silenced, not softened. It was about my kids and how they've been treated, about the quiet patterns that were no longer quiet to me. And I finally said what I had been too scared to say. And you know what? Once I said it, I couldn't go back. The silence that followed didn't break me, it revealed me. I realized I wasn't waiting for anyone to validate what I felt anymore. I wasn't seeking permission to be heard or to protect my peace or to tell the truth, even when it was uncomfortable. What I was really doing was choosing myself. And if you've ever been there at the edge of your own breaking point, then maybe you already know. You can't unsee what becomes clear in those moments. I didn't feel rage. I wasn't looking to be right. What I felt was tired. So tired. Like my soul was tired. Tired of pretending that things didn't hurt. Tired of being the one who always keeps it graceful. Tired of shrinking my truth so no one else has to sit with theirs. And in that stillness that followed, something moved. There wasn't a breakdown. There was a return. A return to something deeper, something quieter. You know, it's a part of me I reconnect with when the noise fades. That part doesn't demand, doesn't shout, doesn't need to justify itself. It's where I go when the mask comes off, when I'm not trying to be strong or soft or the bigger person. It's the space where I don't have to explain why something hurts. I can just feel it. And in that space, something becomes clear. Not loud, not dramatic, just clear. Because when everything falls away and you're sitting there in the rawness of what's real, you realize you already know what's true. You just needed the silence to hear it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to pretending it didn't hurt. You can't smile through the things that your spirit keeps flinching at. You can't keep editing yourself to make others feel comfortable in the presence of your truth. That's the thing no one really tells you. When you start telling the truth to yourself, the cost of pretending becomes too high. And let me be very clear, you are not proving a point. You are protecting your peace. Because you get to a point in your healing where silence no longer feels like a strength, where not saying anything starts to feel like a betrayal, not to them, but to yourself. And when you feel that movement, it changes the way you move. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how you show up and who you're willing to show up for. There's grief in that, yes. Letting go always comes with grief, but there's also relief because now you know. You know where you've been shrinking. You know who's been choosing convenience over care. You know what it cost you to keep explaining things that shouldn't need to be explained. And maybe for the first time, you decide that your knowing doesn't need a second opinion. You just let it be true. There's this moment after the rupture, after the tears, the silence, the unraveling. Of course, it's quiet, but it's not empty. It feels like something sacred has returned to you, something you forgot you were allowed to carry all along. You, the whole of you, the version who doesn't shrink or explain or soften your truth to keep the room comfortable. That return, it doesn't always feel triumphant. Sometimes it's tender, other time it stings, like peeling off armor you didn't even know you were still wearing. But underneath all that protection, there you are, a little tired, a little raw, but still standing. And when you come home to yourself like that, not because someone handed you permission, but because you finally decided you deserve to be whole, that's the kind of knowing that doesn't fade. You stop abandoning yourself to stay close to people who keep leaving you out of the room. You stop shrinking to be digestible. You stop waiting for others to catch up to what you already know. And you start building something softer, stronger, slower. You start choosing peace over performance, boundaries over approval, self trust over constant questioning. You start living like your truth deserves space, not someday, not when it's convenient, but now. And maybe it's not loud, maybe you don't announce it, but you know it. And knowing it changes everything. Sometimes healing isn't a lightning bolt. It's not loud or poetic or dramatic. It's a slow exhale, a deep breath you didn't realize you were holding, a soft, no more, whisper to yourself in a quiet room. That's what this moment feels like. A shift doesn't need to be witnessed to be real. So if something cracked open for you today, even if you can't quite name it just yet, let that be enough. You don't have to rush to fix it, label it, or make it productive. You can just notice it. Let it settle, let it rise in its own time. Because choosing yourself isn't a one time decision, it's a practice, a daily practice at that. And every time you honor what's real, you come back to home just a little bit more fully. Let this be your reminder. You are not too much. You are not asking for too much. If you're ready to explore more, download the self care workbook. It's gentle, it's intentional, it's designed to help you move from reflection into rhythm. You'll find space in there to be real with yourself without pressure and without perfection. The link's in the show notes. Thanks for joining me on the scented path. Remember, finding balance is a luxury we all deserve, and each breath is a chance to embrace harmony and grace. Until next time, breathe easy, live beautifully, and let every moment reflect your truest self. This is The Scented Path, where luxury meets balance.